Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my first impressions look on the Li-ning Wade 808 Ultra. So this is the Ultra version of the 808 of course, and this is one of my favorite shoes to hoop in of this year actually, and it's only 110 bucks. This shoe is going for 160 bucks. Unfortunately, they increased the price a good amount, but they did give us a lot better tech, and I was super freaking excited about this shoe and I finally got it in. So again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave a link in the description box. Of course, this is like iPhone, you know, they give us the Ultra version, the Pro version. This is kind of like I guess Li-ning's version of that. But let's get it started off with the Tracciones, and in this colorway we have a translucent outsole, as you guys can see. And right now it's not feeling all too good on my wood floors. I mean, okay, so it has a nice bite and it has a nice loud squeak as well, but my floors are a little bit dusty. My dogs are shedding a lot, so there's a lot of dog hair and stuff. And it seems to be picking a lot of that up, and it's not having as good of a bite. And then once I wipe, it seems pretty damn good, but just not as good as, of course, this solid white rubber outsole here on the 808, the regular one. So hopefully it's not a huge issue on dust, but I feel like it's gonna be a really good bite on a clean court, but we'll have to see on dust. Of course, you know, translucent and solid rubber outsoles can perform differently, just from my experience. So I am a little bit worried about that, but we'll have to see for the full performance review. Also, for the durability, I feel like it's going to be very good. I mean, the grooves are super thick, especially here on the highway area where the ball of your foot is, and also here in the heel, we have a very, very thick rubber with the Way of Weight logo, right? So durability should be fine if you're going to be playing on an outdoor court. Also here in the middle of the outsole, we can see it's pretty cool. It's like a mesh material. There's a mesh material underlying, or I guess kind of like over the rubber outsole here, which we'll get into. That looks pretty cool. So there is a traction there. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, feels pretty much exactly like the 808, right? So here in the heel, you have a little bit of a curved shape. It's a little clunky because there is no compression from the actual midsole, right? It's a little bit of a clunker here in the heel, but once you get here into the forefoot, we have a nice curved shape and a lot of forefoot flex. But one thing that they did a little bit differently here in the Ultras is if you take out the boom drop-in midsole, we can see that there is a plastic midfoot shank plate, right? So that does add for a little bit of torsion support, as opposed to the regular 808 where pretty much there was nothing, right? But I feel like this Li-ning cloud foam is a little bit more rigid, right? So maybe that's why they didn't need to add something, right? As opposed to the boom, right? It's a little bit more rigid here in the boom drop-in midsole. But anyways, it feels pretty much the same as the 808 and also the Kobe 9, right? So there's that. Moving on to the cushioning setup. So I am a little bit disappointed in the boom drop-in midsole. I love boom. Boom is awesome. It looks like Boost, right? I feel like it's pretty similar, like how they produce it. You know, it looks like it's pellets and they probably heat molded or something. There's a couple of things I like about the cloud foam a little bit better, right? So the cloud foam, it's like this texture, right? It's a sticky texture, and this actually grips your sock really, really well, which I like. Here for the boom, it's like a softer type of texture, and it doesn't have that stickiness that the cloud foam has, so it doesn't grab my sock and my foot as well, which kind of sucks. And also remember from the like leaked images of this, I thought this was like a gel. It looks like a gel, right? But when I got it in, it's felt, right? And that's one thing that I don't like. So first of all, I feel like the mold is pretty much the same, right? The thickness feels the same, but boom is actually bouncier than cloud, right? So as far as compression goes, they're very similar, right? There's a lot of compression here in the heel and it feels really nice. But boom, it says Li-ning boom here, by the way. It feels a lot more bouncy, right? It seems like there's a little bit, or actually a good amount more rebound in the heel, which I like. But as you guys can see here in the forefoot, they added this felt kind of like lining material, and I don't like it because they glued it, right? And of course, to stick this material onto the boom, they need to glue it. And because they did that, they stiffened up this boom. They pretty much added kind of like a strobo board, you know, nothing crazy, but they kind of did, and that defeats the purpose of having a drop-in, right? And here in the Cloud, in the regular 808 this is actually still soft, and you can feel the step-in comfort here in the forefoot as well, even though it's pretty damn thin, right? I can't really feel the boom cushion all too much as far as stepping comfort goes here in the forefoot, which definitely is a bummer as well. But I guess here in the heel, it does feel nicer because of the extra bounce. But I don't really like that. So that definitely does suck. I definitely feel like they shouldn't have added this. So this plus the actual texture of the boom not being as sticky as the 808 definitely are disadvantages. So right now, honestly, I'm liking the Li-ning Cloud drop-in midsole a little bit better. And of course, they also have the sidewall, just like in most drop-in midsoles, and also here in the regular 808 for lateral containment, which we'll get into for support. The cushioning setup feels great overall though. You know, court feel is great. Here, especially here in the forefoot, there is a pretty high offset as well. Also, another cool thing is, like I mentioned before, we can see the mesh material. I don't know why there's no mesh. It's just like a strobel board here in the regular 808 but here in the Ultra, we can see like a mesh, which is kind of cool. So there is the cushioning setup there. It's still nice. I'm just a little bit disappointed because I had such high hopes for this boom midsole, right? All right, now moving on to the material. So we have pretty much the same exact material as the regular 808 but it's a little bit different, just a tiny bit. You know, like the mesh material, like the overlaying material has kind of like bigger holes, right? Bigger openings. And then here in the toe box, we have fuse for extra durability and support. But one thing that's different, of course, is this knit collar, right? It's pretty much like a one booty upper, right? There is this booty, and then here where the tongue's supposed to be, it's like a mesh material. So that all goes over your foot. And of course, we have this mesh material kind of going over all of that with the lacing system. So this feels super nice. I love this stretchy collar. You just stretch it open, slide your foot in, and this feels nice because it kind of like stretches over your ankle, right? So I do like that. It feels nice and premium. Here in the forefoot, it feels super nice. It conforms to your foot very well, but overall it's super thin and also very supportive. It feels like there's zero stretch to this material as well. I do also like this kind of like added bonus. We kind of have this like metal medallion. It's like a circle with the Way of Wade logo here. That's a nice premium touch as well. And then here in the heel, we have a full carbon fiber plate. It looks great. Here in the regular 808 it's just plastic, right? So, I mean, honestly, you don't really need carbon fiber, but it's a nice quality thing, you know? So there's that. Also here in the ankle area, we have a nice bit of padding as well. It feels nice around the Achilles and also around the ankle area too. So overall materials feel great, supportive and minimal, which I like. All right, so moving on to the fit, they sent me a half size up and it fits pretty much like the 808 but I like the overall fit in the 808 better, which is weird, but I'll explain, right? So because of this, right, this is a little bit slippery. You know, it's not slippery, but it doesn't grab my foot as well as the regular Cloud foam, right? So because of that, I can feel a little bit of length. You know, there's just a tiny bit of length here because I did go up half a size, and I don't like it as much. And I can definitely notice the extra length. But here in the regular 808 because of the stickier kind of texture from the Cloud foam, it kind of like holds my foot in place a little bit better. So I don't really notice the extra length here in the 808 as much as the Ultra. So that definitely does suck. So I would actually suggest just going true to size if you want like a nice length, right? If you want your toes to go right to the edge of the shoe. Here in the toe box, it's pretty snug. It's not super snug, but we do have a nice snug fit. And then here in for the width, I would say it's the same as the 808 just a touch wide. So overall, not the best fit for me, and it definitely does suck because I like the 808 fit a little bit better for me personally. All right, moving on to the support and lockdown. So I mean, it's probably gonna be just as good as the 808 You know, like I mentioned before, we have the sidewall for lateral containment, you know, so that'll definitely help. And also this material is super supportive. We have fuse coming up as well here in the forefoot. We have this plastic piece coming up here in the midfoot and here in the heel, and also we have this carbon fiber plate. So lateral containment seems like it's going to be very good, just like in the regular 808 And also look at how wide the shoe is. We have this nice outrigger, super sharp, so that'll keep you laterally stable as well. So support and lockdown feels like it's going to be very, very good. All right, moving on to the weight of the shoe. I feel like I wonder which shoe's lighter, actually. I feel like the 808-2 feels just a tiny bit lighter, right? So the 808-2 is 13.33 ounces, and then the Ultra is 13.19 ounces. Oh, pretty much the same exact weight. Interesting. I would have thought, you know, maybe the extra kind of like collar and stuff would have added a little bit more weight. And also like this metal medallion, just a tiny bit, but it's the same exact weight, and it feels very similar on foot, but I do like this neck collar. That definitely feels a lot more comfortable and premium. So there is the weight of the shoe. Moving on to the aesthetics, I love it. This shoe looks awesome, and I love the way the regular 808-2 looks, and also I love the way the Ultra looks as well. This colorway is super sick too, like this kind of like cool blue color, and also I really like the window. You know, the window that kind of exposes the drop-in both on the lateral and medial side of the shoe. Look at that. You can see my finger through it. So that's a nice touch as well. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, it's not feeling as good as the regular 808-2, unfortunately, right now. Hopefully, you know, once I break it in, the cushion feels a little bit better, the traction performs a little bit better as well on dust. But right now, for my first impressions look, it's not as good as the 808-2, but that does not mean the Ultra feels bad. It's just the 808-2, I absolutely love this shoe. This still feels really, really nice. It's just I had very, very high hopes, and I was just a tiny bit disappointed, I guess, because, you know, I was just so looking forward to this shoe. But overall, it still feels nice. But anyways, that about concludes my first impressions look on the 808-2 Ultra. Again, if you guys don't want to cop, I try to leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.